Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. Howdy ho. How's it going? It's John Nolan here. Today, freedom lover, my friends. Freedom lover. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I said, my fellow freedom lovers. That's who we are. It's so great to see you all. I'm waiting for people to jump on here. 12 and I think 17. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome on Rumble. We're healthy. We're wealthy. We're whole. We're free. That's been the mantra. And we have some cool things to talk about, perspectives to explore, onions to peel. This is more complex than what meets the eye. It's always that way. So thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I see Lakeside Laura, Robert. Pozdrav z Balkana. Kako si, prijatelj? Drago mi je da si tu. Then we see Australia. Hey, Mike. How's it going? The Spirit Dot Team, Doomsday Media, Stevie O, Usha, great to see you from Trinidad. That must be beautiful, man. Maurice, Kellyanne is from New Zealand. Nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all. For those who are new, welcome. I see some new names every now and then. If this is your first time, welcome to the Inspired Tribe. Membership's free. And as long as you have good intentions, you're always welcome here. Sunita, Pernila's Healthy Living from Sweden. Then we have, Gordana Kakusi iz Hrvatske, Lijepa Hrvatska. Then we have Gwen Edward from Florida. That's where we just got back from. We're back in our regularly, well, you know the surroundings if you've been around. Well, let's dive into it, people. AI Elon, that's what I call him. AI Elon has taken over Twitter. It was an interesting journey from wanting to take over, pulling back, coming back in. Everything was classic Elon Musk in terms of having maximum media exposure, getting the maximum amount of publicity, and of course the maximum amount of memes. Almost no one gets more memes than Elon Musk. And we reported on that every now and then. I put out a little short, and this is a multi-layered reaction we have to this. But first of all, let's begin with the beginning. Elon Musk isn't just some dude. He isn't just an entrepreneur. He isn't just, he's one of the biggest government contractors in the United States. Let that sink in. I mean, no pun intended, but let that sink in. He's one of the biggest contractors of the United States government. He shoots up Starlinks and creates a worldwide 5G or 6G, 7G net. Thank you so much, Lucas. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate it. It's great in that whole thing there. I'm sure there are other reasons why he's a government contractor. If you are in that position that he is in, you're not just some dude, you see. That is always intertwined with, you're basically an agent, whether you want it or not. You are an asset, whether you want it or not. And Elon Musk currently is an asset. Whose asset is very difficult to tell because I believe multiple levels are being played, multiple layers are being played. But what does it mean for us and for Twitter? Well, literally, we created a Twitter account immediately after the takeover. We had one that was suspended. We created one again. Hasn't been suspended since. We haven't pushed any. We haven't pushed the envelope yet. We will, just to test it. And of course, David Icke created immediately an account, a new David Icke account, and was immediately suspended again. But first of all, let's give that whole thing a little bit of time. You don't change algorithms. You don't change that in 2 days. It's got to take some time for that whole thing to really sink in. However, that being said, Zumi, thank you so much. Zumi, our readings, thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate it. Oh, how generous you guys are. Thank you. You have to give it some time. So what I think is happening in the short term, we have in the short term the opportunity to get to know what this guy is really about and if he walks his talk, right? If he's really about free speech, well, we shall see what's really going to happen to Twitter. We all know what happened, the great culling of 2020. That was one of the most horrific times, or one of the most horrific times in internet and big tech history began when the great culling began across the platforms. And Twitter the mighty 200, our friends that got eliminated. And this is really, it was a highly political campaign. It was really solely against the perceived political right. We can't use these old terms anymore; they just don't apply. Everything that was somehow MAGA or Trump related, it just got booed off. It was a horrific time, still is. But right now, AI Elon rides in on a white horse, saves the day, buys Twitter 8 days or 9 days away from the midterm election. The timing is absolutely important here. These are not random things. There are multiple alignments in the dates. There are multiple things. It needed to happen still in October. There are so many things that are happening here, signs that are coming out, and we need to look at this from a much more multidimensional viewpoint. Also, Elon Musk has been a guy that's continually spoken about artificial intelligence. He keeps saying it's really not what he wants, but it's inevitable, so he might as well be a part of it. His company Neuralink works on implanting chips and really enhancing the brain and making all these medical things possible. And he is a complete tech guy. I mean, that's at the center of his life. I'm pretty sure he's already infused with tech, and of course has access to highly sophisticated algorithms and other artificial intelligence means. I think that's why he's proven to be successful today, to be so successful in business. Is not as much creative genius. It is creative genius, of course, but it is also having access to the most data and most sophisticated data and make those choices when you make them. I mean, he drove the Dogecoin train, right? Remember Dogecoin and Bitcoin and how he drove that whole train and how he amped it up and how every time he tweeted about it, the market went up and made huge leaps and all of that. So we're learning so much through his behavior. Now we're going to learn what he's really about. There's this big app called X that he's developing, which is the everything app, he calls it. It's going to I think it's going to be his version of the super easiest entrance into something like the metaverse. There's going to be everything in there. And I think he is working on getting as many users as possible without having to build something new. So I think his Twitter takeover was really taking over that much access to that many users. If he plays it smart, he's going to bring back some of the players, the major players that were banned, and let them be free on the platform. Why? Because that's going to attract a ton of people. That's going to bring a ton of people back. It's going to bring back the old appeal of Twitter. And then when the time comes for his own good, he might switch it over to whatever he wants to do. I believe that's the case. I always believe that's the case. But I celebrate the short-term victory. I celebrate it because blue check marks are leaving Twitter like crazy. And those are the absolutely, sick, twisted individuals that are in the public eye, the Hollywood libs and everyone else who's completely lost their minds and who are just propaganda machines for crazy transhumanist bullshit. I'm glad they're wanting to leave Twitter. It's not going to go well for them, but in the short term, we have an opportunity. We need to realize that these platforms right now are really battlefields. They're the battlefields of this war, and it's always been like that. And we have to occupy these fields and fill them with true messages, with authentic messages, with inspiration, truth and inspiration, always at the same time. We're narrative drivers. I mean, look at what is just transpiring in the Pelosi, in the Pelosi game right now. A completely unbelievable, crazy story that was, put out there through a presser, and the media has been not falling for that. They're complicit in it, and they're reporting this crap. Everybody knows it's not true. And everybody who knows anything about the Pelosi's knows, first of all, Nancy Pelosi is the third in line for the residency at the White House. Okay, so if whatever happens to the president, the vice president, she's the next one in line. So You don't sneak into the residence of the third person in line. That just doesn't happen. There's no sneaking in. She lives in the most guarded neighborhood of San Francisco. There is Secret Service, there's the neighborhood security, there's all of that. So you can't, nobody sneaks in. Of course, people have said for a very long time that Paul Pelosi brings in younger dudes on a regular, and they got hammered, no pun intended. And whatever happened. We don't know yet, but I think it will come out, and I think this was the back door, no pun intended, to yet another big story that needs to be seen by the people. See, these things need to happen the way they happen. Same with Elon Musk on Twitter. It needs to happen the way it needs to happen. You need to see it unfold. It cannot be any other way. Those relatives of yours, those friends of yours who are so programmed into the matrix, they need to see things. They need to have the aha moments 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 times. That's the power of repetition. They need to get that into their minds and shown and feel it. And they need to feel the pain too sometimes in order to actually perceive truth. So I see this as a short-term positive thing. I don't trust AI, Elon. I believe he is AI infused already. I don't trust him because to me, he's on a technocracy timeline, and that's not where we're on. So that's why we see it the way we see it. But nonetheless, I would encourage you, go to Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter profile, create a Twitter profile. If you want to follow us, let's see what happens. We are The Real Inspired, at The Real Inspired on Twitter. You'll see our blue logo. Who knows? Maybe we get even a check mark. I don't know. I'm not looking for that. But let's put it to the test. Let's go on there. Post your favorite documentaries. Post your favorite videos. Post your favorite articles. Post truth. Post truth, or at least post the exploration of truth about all the things that matter so much and will continue to matter. Post things about transhumanism. As a matter of fact, go there if you enjoyed our latest interview with Frank Jacobs, spiritual synchronicity. Synthetic spirituality. Synthetic spirituality. Post a link on Twitter. See what happens when we do that. Let's amplify these messages and see if it's really a free speech platform. If not, and this is the beautiful thing, this will be the ultimate test. Whether AI Elon will continue to be a hero for many, or he will have the great downfall. Because if he actually doesn't get his act together on Twitter, if he doesn't really support free speech, it's going to be tough, because people are going to turn away for good from Twitter, from Tesla, from Musk, and all the above. So a multi-layered perspective. I know this is complex, but it is a complex game we find ourselves in. As a matter of fact, there's something coming up on our channel. It's going to be very interesting in the following days. Keep an eye out for that. Might bring a little more clarity into the whole game. As I said, for now, I encourage you, go to Twitter, create a profile. Let's put it to the test. Let's see what they do with inspiration, truth, and authenticity. All right, Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. I so look forward to going to the comment section, the live comment section, reading what you got to say. I love reading your comments. And let's keep an eye out for this. Also, last but not least, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So often I've seen this. People get so black and white. They get so, yes, there is a narrow path. Yes, truth, but we also need to understand multidimensionality. It happens on many different levels. If you are advanced on your awakening journey, this level might not be interesting to you anymore because you've gone through it. But others still need to go through it. And for them, these things need to be shown. Truth is so multidimensional, and it expresses itself so differently depending on what level you're on. And so when people say, we don't need to even talk about this has all already happened and we're much further along. Well, who are you talking about? I know people who are just beginning to see, and they need to realize, oh, there was something wrong with Twitter. Oh, they're really censoring Facebook. They're really censoring, losing billions of dollars, aren't they? How bad that is. I love seeing them lose billions of dollars. But we need to understand that this truth is layered, and that people need to see it on the level they're on. And if they can't perceive it from a spiritual level yet, if they can't see it the way you see it, the big picture yet, then we need to show them the smaller picture so they can get into the bigger picture. It is work. It's work every day. And that's why we need to operate on so many different levels. That's just, if you are a warrior for the light, if you are a real freedom lover, then that's what you're going to do. That's what you're called to do. Operate on all levels that are accessible to you. All right. Try it, my fellow freedom lovers. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.